Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
How's your apocalypse going?
The plague apocalypse is upon us.
I bonked myself in the head the other day.
I
And
heard.
so that's how my apocalypse is going. Like, our hydraulics went out on our hatchback. And when I opened it and let go, it fell on my head instead of staying in place.
So
And
you
it
lost about
literally,
an inch there, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, James has already teased me about that. Like, my
Yeah,
husband's already like, you were already short. Now you're even shorter. Because
right.
it literally, like, and my spine hurts, my neck.
Yeah, it compressed you,
I've
I'm sure.
yeah, I've got a indention on my head
Which is
with
not
this
good.
fucking
Usually a
hair.
goose egg means that you're okay, and indention means you're not okay.
Yeah, but the doctor said he didn't think it was an actual fracture, just mashed it in real good.
Mm.
I don't know. So, but I was told that they'll send me for a CAT scan if I have any more symptoms, which so far I have not.
Oh, that's good.
And all I have to do is call the doctor back and let them know, basically, and they'll send
Doesn't
me to
it
go get a
suck
CAT
having to
scan.
go to the doctor anyway with COVID out there? You're like,
Oh yeah,
fuck.
no, somebody walked in and was talking to the receptionist like I was around somebody who was tested positive, and I'm just like, oh, I'm over there like having a panic attack in the waiting room, like, oh God, this
Exactly.
guy has
Yeah.
COVID. This guy has COVID.
Right? Just because they were exposed. Yeah. It's scary.
Yeah. And the wait time was ridiculous. Like,
Oh, I'm sure. Did you have to go to the actual hospital, like the ER?
no, I refuse to go to the ER right now. I'm
I
like,
don't blame you.
no. Um, I went to like an urgent care clinic, and well, we went to one and they were packed, and they were like, it's gonna be like a 3 hour wait. Why don't you go to the
No.
other? And they were like, go to the other one, and we went to the other one. It was pretty much the same, and we just decided to stay put and go ahead and wait.
I would have said, I'm going to be in my car. Here's my phone number. Call me when it's time for me to go in. And I've done that. I did that with the dentist for my child. And I did that with my dad. He had to go to the actual emergency room. He got attacked by a dog, of all things. And I was not going in that emergency room. I was like, nope, somebody call me when, I can go straight back. So I am avoiding any hospitals at all costs.
Same, pretty much, but it is a little bit worrisome because I keep kind of like multiple times a day. I like run my fingers over the indention, and I'm like, why am I not in the hospital? Like, why? But
Because you could die in there.
probably. Um, I'll take my chances at home. Just kicking it here.
Yes.
Um, we're going to talk about dolphin suicide. There was no segue that was going to work for that. It's like,
No. And that's the strangest subject that I had actually never heard of until I started looking it over, and I'm like, oh, they just get depressed and stop breathing. Oh,
yeah,
that sounds like
they
me. I just
control their breathing, unlike humans. So that's
yeah, I just
they can just choose not to breathe.
don't
So
breathe. I feel like that some days too. I don't want to die. I just want to fade away, just stop breathing. And then I'm like, oh God, I'm scared of death. Why am I even thinking that?
yeah, I I guess it would be dangerous if we could control our own breathing like that,
It
because
probably would, yeah.
I probably would already be gone if I could just kill myself that easily. Let's be quite honest. I know that's a little bit morbid, but it's true. There's been
Yeah,
times in my life where I feel like not at this point, but at certain
sure.
points in my life, I probably would have done that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we all go through that, I think, at some phase of our life. I know when I was younger, like way younger, like 30 years ago, and that sounds so, horrible for me to say, because it's like, how the fuck was this 30 years ago? I was suicidal. I mean, most people kind of go through that. And then now at 45, it's like I am absolutely 100% anxiety ridden, terrified to die. Where it was like, I'm going to go jump off a fucking cliff at 19. It's like I'm not coming within 50 feet of the ledge of that cliff. So yeah, Things
Same,
can
same.
definitely change.
I guess when you're faced with, your loved ones and stuff start to die off around you,
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
starts to it starts to get real, and you're like, I don't know what happens after death.
Yeah, you don't feel as
And
invincible either. You see that
yeah,
happens and it happens to everyone and nobody gets out alive. So to me it's like why try to speed that up because we're only here for a very short time anyway. It may seem like a long time, it's not a long time. Why are we
um,
talking about cuz dolphins. I was like, why are we talking about suicide now? And then I remembered the
dolphin
subject.
suicide.
Dolphins are very close to humans anyway, so
Um, shit, somebody's messaging me. Hold on. Um, it's the first one we're going to talk about is actually a dolphin who played Flipper.
yeah. I remember,
The
didn't they
dolphin
move him or something and he got
it's
depressed?
actually a female. It's actually there was five
Oh, it
different
was
ones,
okay.
but there were five different ones that played, but primarily it was a dolphin named Kathy.
Okay.
And she committed suicide after the
Aw.
show ended. Um, and it's so freaking sad, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm distracted, y'all. It'll be just a second. Somebody's asking me something on
Hey, go
Facebook.
away, I'm baiting. I mean, we're in the middle of idiocracy anyway, right? This whole
Yeah,
trying, stressful time of quarantine, it is idiocracy. So I'm just laying here like, go away, I'm fucking baiting.
yeah. I'm just gonna send them. It's actually somebody we want on as a guest, and they're asking me what microphone they need to get. So I felt like it was important to
Oh, nice.
interrupt.
Absolutely.
Um,
We love guests.
our friend Nathan, our friend Nathan,
Oh,
is
cool.
gonna try to come on the show.
Well,
Anyway,
while you're messaging, we can go ahead in the middle of this and say happy birthday, Bana.
oh yes, it will be her birthday tomorrow, but it should be out by then, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
get to work.
So yeah, happy birthday, Bonna. Go, shawty. It's your birthday. No, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna sing anything like that. Maybe just a little.
Now I've got Anthony Michael Hall in my head from 16 Candles. You say it's your birthday.
All right, back to the show. I may edit that out, I'm not sure. Or I might just leave it because I don't really care. We're just we're just shooting the shit here anyway.
I
Why
mean,
not?
our three fans are really not gonna mind that little bit of
That
of an
30 seconds
interruption.
of that 30 seconds of disruption. Um Okay, Kathy was a bottlenose dolphin trained for use in the 60s television show Flipper. She was captured from the wild and taken into captivity to live the rest of her life as an entertainer for the series. She spent countless hours on set, but when her acting career was over, so to speak, she retired to a small chamber in the Miami Seaquarium. It was here that she became miserable and depressed when her trainer Rick O'Barry was called in to check in on the dolphin, she ended her life by swimming into his arms and holding her breath. How fucking depressing
That
is
is
that?
so sad. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Can I click unlike right now on this whole thing? Yeah, it,
Yeah.
it is depressing. Okay, while Flipper himself might have appeared to be one dolphin throughout the series, the show cycled through multiple dolphins. Kathy, the dolphin that ultimately took her own life, was the primary dolphin of the show, yet only one of the five dolphins who starred in this series. All five dolphins were directly taken out of the wild and trained to act for entertainment purposes. The dolphins used were mostly female as they are less aggressive, so that's why they used females instead of males. And they tend to be free of bodily disfigurement from skirmishes with other dolphins. The show
Mm.
was produced in cooperation with the Miami Seaquarium, and the Seaquarium hosted a variety of accommodations for the multiple dolphins who played the part, such as their set locations and pens. Kathy the Dolphin, aka Flipper, ended her life with a definite statement. After the show's completion, Kathy was kept in an isolated pen at the Miami Seaquarium. She had shown signs of sickness when her captor and trainer Rick O'Barry was called in to examine her. When he arrived, he realized Kathy was much sicker than anyone had expected her to be. She swam into his arms and stopped breathing completely. She took her last breath and held held it even after her trainer grabbed her to hold onto her. When he let go, she sank to the bottom of the tank, and when he pulled her to the surface, she was dead. The smile of a dolphin
I just
is,
need a bottle of wine now.
I know,
I don't
right?
even drink, and after hearing that, it's like I just want to drink my sorrow away.
The smile of a dolphin is nothing but a complete illusion, a human trait associated with the animal in an attempt to project our own emotions onto the creature. Dolphins can become severely depressed, which causes lethargy, lack of appetite, and according to some scientists and activists, suicide. In the case of Flipper's Kathy, her trainer insists that she killed herself due to a broken heart. She isn't the only dolphin to become depressed to the point of taking its own life. We're going to talk about that one a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, Kathy's captor and trainer, Rick O'Barry, insists that Flipper's death was no accident. By taking her out of the wild and eventually bringing her into an isolated tank, her quality of life had become absolutely miserable. Even though he attempted to console the dolphins once she had stopped breathing, there was nothing he could do to make her willingly take a breath of fresh air.
Why
Since
didn't they just take after they were done with the show or whatever? Which I don't. I'll never watch the show again. Now, I mean, I haven't since I was a little kid, but now I know I won't after knowing what happened. Why don't they release them back into the wild?
I don't know. I guess because they get adapted to
She didn't
captivity, and
seem too fucking adapted. She wanted to
I don't know.
die, you know?
Or I guess maybe they just felt like they could profit off of a
Profit off people seeing
celebrity
it,
animal.
yeah.
Um, Basically, dolphins have to consciously decide to breathe, unlike humans who will breathe instinctively. He concluded that her actions were completely intentional, and it came as a result from moving her to captivity. The trainer was devastated and shocked by his beloved dolphin suicide. Even though Rick is a very experienced dolphin trainer and claims to have been possibly the highest paid animal trainer in the world in the 60s, he admits that he was complacently ignorant towards her treatment and the resulting emotional repercussions of her captivity. After Kathy died in his arms the very next day, he found himself in jail for attempting to free the remaining dolphins from captivity.
Good for him. They should not have put him in jail. He should get a medal.
On Earth Day 1970, he began focusing his efforts towards ending the captivity of dolphins, eventually founding the Dolphin Project. Rick continues his efforts towards ending the slaughtering, capturing, and captivity of dolphins.
Hmm.
So at least that's what changed his mind. He saw how miserable she was,
Yeah.
and actually made a change, and has tried to get them out of captivity.
And that was 1970. How are things now? Have you looked up if I mean, I know we have like
Um,
SeaWorld and swim with the dolphins in Florida and other places in Gulf Coast and stuff, which I would never do. I've never liked that idea of going swimming with the dolphins because I don't believe that dolphins or any other fish belong in captivity. So it makes me wonder if things have gotten any better as far as being humane to them.
he did a documentary that was maybe a few years back. I'm gonna look it up right quick because I forgot the name of. I think it's Dolphin Cove. Um,
Okay.
he was involved in the making of that. The Cove. Yes, it's. There's a documentary called The Cove, which is about dolphin hunting practices and stuff. It's uh, it's really like an award-winning film, basically. So if y'all want to check that out and find
Yeah,
out
for
more about
sure.
that, you sure. All right, now the next famous story of dolphin suicide is Peter the dolphin. He was just 6 years old when he fell in love with a human. The bottlenose dolphin met.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait.
yeah, yeah. It, it was
I
part of.
I've got this look on my face right now like, wait,
Well,
what?
it was one sided. Let's put it that way.
Okay,
Um,
okay. Because I
yes.
know there was a woman in Great Britain or somewhere that married a dolphin, and then she ended up divorcing the dolphin, I think, or it was like this
Uh,
crazy story.
well, that's a whole nother
Yeah,
show. Anyway, um, we're not going to talk about that one on there, but we
yeah.
do have. I do have some worse shit to talk about on here.
Okay.
It's gonna get weirder.
Mm.
But he fell in love with a human. The bottlenose dolphin met research assistant Margaret Howe just as the free love movement was emerging in 1965. Howe was supposed to spend 10 weeks teaching Peter English words, but Peter was more focused on getting to know his teacher in a different way. As he
Wow.
was sexually coming of age, Howe said, Peter turned hot for his teacher and fell in love. Howe and Peter's star-crossed love story is the focus of a new BBC documentary, The Girl Who Talked to Dolphins, set to air next week. Which this was a while, this was years ago, so that's already out. You could probably find it somewhere to stream. I didn't
Okay.
look that up, but I actually have seen it. It's yeah. Howe and Peter did everything together, eating, sleeping, bathing, and playing as part of a NASA experiment that aimed to teach Peter to speak through his blowhole. The experiment, which plays out like a real life version of the famous 1973 film Day of the Dolphin, had a unique setup. Doctors John C. Lilly, the experiment's leader, flooded a sun drenched remote location in St. Thomas with seawater 22 inches deep. Howe had a desk suspended from the ceiling and a hanging mattress protected by a shower curtain, which Peter loved to splash water at for attention. Howe's lessons, so she was basically sleeping in a mattress suspended over his area, like
Okay.
where he was in the water. Um, the lesson started immediately, but Peter quickly proved to be a bad boy. She tried hard to get Peter to greet her by saying hello, Margaret, but he had trouble with the letter M. Instead, Peter had something else to greet her with. About 4 weeks into the experiment, Howe wrote in her diary, Peter has become sexually aroused several times during the week. I find that his desires are hindering our relationship. He jams himself again and again against my legs, circles around me, is inclined to nibble, and is generally so excited he can't control his attitude around me.
So walk
Yeah,
away.
I, I'm guessing she was getting paid for that shit and she just kept it going anyway.
I was gonna say,
But
get
it's
another trainer. Walk away. Hmm.
And she says that the relationship of having to be together sort of turned into really enjoying being together and wanting to be together and missing him when he wasn't there. She admitted. In the trailer for the documentary, Howe explains that she would masturbate Peter to keep him focused,
What?
otherwise he did not pay attention to her lessons.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
it
Okay,
was
yes,
easier.
you're right. This just got very much weirder.
Oh yeah, no, we've got another story that's also weird, but yes, it was easier just to incorporate it and let it happen. It was gentle. Peter knew I was right there. Again, it was sexual on his part, it was not sexual on mine.
Okay,
It
so
would just
there's animal husbandry. I know that vets do when they're trying to inseminate another animal. They'll do something similar to that, and it's not sexual
yes.
to them. They're just trying to breed the animal. But just the mental picture of somebody jerking off a dolphin just to get them to get off so that they can do something else, that's not animal husbandry, and that's really fucking weird.
Yeah. Um, it would become part of what was going on like an itch just to get rid of that, scratch it, and we'll be done and move on. After the experiment ended and the lab was closed, Peter was shipped back to Lily's lab in Miami, and his health quickly deteriorated. A few weeks later, Peter committed suicide with veteran Andy Williamson ruling his cause of death a broken heart. Margaret
Mm.
could rationalize it, but when she left could Peter. The love of his life was gone. The experiment was helmed by Dr. John Lilly, who later became howlingly insane after repeatedly injecting himself with ketamine
Oh, Jesus.
and spending a little bit too much time in isolation tanks with the dolphins. So, yeah,
Ended up liking it. That's what it was. He'd
yeah.
get fucked up on ketamine and go fuck dolphins. What a dildo.
It doesn't say that he did that, but
But you
the
know
fact,
he did. You know
yeah,
he
but it,
did.
yeah, and so the on the dolphin side of things, he was with this woman every day, living together, and this dolphin was in love with her, and that is so depressing to me.
That is
Beca-
so
Because
ultimately depressing.
because to her, she might have thought of him in a fond way, but obviously not that same way that he was feeling, and then to just be ripped away from her, like at the end of the experiment.
That's heartbreaking.
It is. This may be like the darkest show we've had. Well, no, okay, no, the pedophile one was probably the darkest, but
Yes. Yeah.
this is a close second here. Um, this next story, Malcolm Brenner wrote Wet Goddess, a new book about a man's 9-month sexual relationship with a dolphin. An affair
God.
that an affair that breaks a striking degree of resemblance to his own interspecies romance. The author claims he started a relationship with a dolphin named Dolly back in 1970 when he was in his early 20s. He was a sophomore at New College of Florida in Sarasota. A writer hired Brenner to take photographs for a children's book about the dolphin show at an amusement park in nearby Nokomis. He was given free access to the park and introduced to the staff. If Brenner is to believe, the dolphin courted him. Initially, she became more and more aggressive, said Brenner, who lives in Punta Gorda, Florida. She would thrust herself against me. But over time, Dolly became more gentle, he claimed.
My dog thrusts itself against me all the time. It rubs up against my leg because it wants to be pet. And that's it. Nothing
Yeah.
more.
He said, I found that extraordinarily erotic, Brenner said. It was like being with a tiger or a bear. This is an animal that could kill you in 2 seconds if it wanted to. After about 9 months, the Florida Land Amusement Park was sold to become housing. His college sweetheart was shipped off to an oceanarium in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Of course.
While he said he enrolled in Evergreen State College in Washington. The Huffington Post has been unable to verify his account of the affair, but the park closed in 1971. However, historical photos and archival brochures indicated there definitely was a porpoise pool at the park. I had every intention of going to visit the dolphin when I got back to the South, but it didn't work out that way, Brenner said. I learned the hard way that dolphins are chattel and much more emotionally vulnerable than I had ever imagined. Brenner said Dolly died about 9 months after the last time he saw her, and it was assumed suicide.
Mm.
So he never went back to visit her. She fucking killed
What
herself.
a dick. I mean, all these animal trainers are just absolute douches.
Yeah. It's just really freaking sad to me.
All of it is. The whole thing. This entire episode is just really, really sad and weird. You're right.
Yeah. Ah, like it's like I don't know how. Like just feel like obviously these creatures have emotions similar to humans. That doesn't make it okay to have a relationship with them,
No.
and doing these type of experiments is emotionally traumatizing them,
Yes.
and that is just wrong. You
It
know,
really is. I mean,
I
even
mean,
if
if
you take the sexual aspect out of it, if you have a dog for 10 years, say, and then suddenly you just take that dog out on a dirt country road because it's gotten old and you drop it off and you shut the door and you drive away and you never see that dog again, that dog is going to get depressed. It's going to look for you for a while and then it's probably just going to die.
yep,
That's what these trainers are doing with these dolphins. The dolphins are getting attached to them, and then they're just like leaving and never coming back. And yeah, any animal or human would get depressed about that if they get attached to someone and then the person just ghosts them.
yeah. But anyway, I'm probably gonna have to like put a warning on this episode.
Sure.
Warning for animal sexual abuse and
Yeah.
just suicide in general. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Lots of TWs there.
yeah, lots of trigger warnings.
Well, I have
Anyway,
learned something that I never wanted to learn today. So,
yeah. And it seems like suicide does happen in nature, but it's
sure.
very rare for
Yeah.
other beings. But
Penguins,
it seems
for
to,
example,
yeah.
those that mate for life like that, yes, it happens.
And it's also happened in the instance of whales and stuff too.
Mhm.
So it seems like those particular creatures have that emotional maturity and have
Yeah,
depression or broken hearts or whatever that has caused it. And God, it's just super fucking depressing.
it really is. I don't like it.
So we'll end this one
Yeah.
on that note.
And apologize because we're so
Yeah, I'm
sorry
sorry.
to bring you down.
I was just thinking in terms of like, I'm going to pick an episode that's just completely absurd. And I had this on my list, and then I did a quickie version of the research today before we did it because we needed an episode, and I took a few days off because my husband was off work for his birthday, and we spent time together. So I did it mostly just so I took the time off and felt like I needed to get an episode out, and I picked this, and I kind of regret it now.
But it's
Like,
done. It's over.
it's
What can
done.
you
It's
do?
done now, and we can move on
Yes.
and try to forget about dolphin suicide.
Yes. Next
And
time, maybe we'll pick something a little lighter, like Stupid Funny Criminals or something. We did a
um,
Stupid Funny Criminals here a while back, and it seemed to be a pretty good episode. It seemed to be pretty fun. And I mean, we can just pick Florida Man, for anything. We can just go state by state and we can start with Florida and have like 5 episodes just on Florida Man. So,
yeah, or Karens,
or
or that
Karens.
might
Yeah.
that might be too controversial right now.
True.
But
Trying to stay away from the politics and religion unless it's cults, and then we're all about some cults.
yeah, definitely trying to stay away from the politics because I know
Yes.
I don't want to scare off our audience,
No.
but
We are politically neutral on this podcast.
yes, sort of. We still don't want people to murder each other. That's as
That's the
political
number
as
one
we are
thing.
getting. Yeah,
Yeah,
don't murder people.
right.
The end. Um,
Unless they try to murder you first, and then by all means.
yes. My shout out podcast this week is I've started listening to the Murder Squad with Jensen and Holes. And Paul Holes is the guy that helped solve the Golden State Killer case. But
Fantastic.
they basically just pick a case and discuss it and give their opinion on solving it. Who they think did it, that kind of stuff. And I just find it really interesting because it's actual investigators talking about it. So that's my shout out this week, even though it's up to you, but it's two very professional investigators talking about cases.
It sounds
So,
great. I'll have to check that one out. Speaking of which, so we need to do an episode on these cases from Unsolved Mysteries. I'm sure you've watched them by
oh
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we need to have a long discussion about Rob. We need to do one episode just on Rob from the episode with the
yeah,
hairdresser that came up missing. Yeah.
yes, yeah. And we'll have to do spoiler alerts on that stuff. But
Oh,
yes,
definitely. Yeah.
but 2 and 6, I definitely want to do episodes on because
We
6
have
was
to.
one about the mother.
Yes.
Anyway, and how messed up that case is.
Yes.
Anyway, so everybody talk hard, talk hard, talk hard.
Talk hard.
And don't be too depressed about dolphin suicide. The end. Bye.
Bye.